So this is the feeder I made. They're all in there. Yeah. Put some hay in one of these laundry baskets, and yeah, they're feeding off that. I can put about more than 4 liters of syrup in there. This year I decided to do some additives. So I added some mishi tea, which is just a mushroom tea. You take the mushroom off of a tree. But I highly recommend you cut it up into strips right away, or if you don't have the skills on a table saw, I wouldn't recommend it. It's kind of highly dangerous to do it. This is what I'm talking about. This thing's as hard as wood. And if you don't have the skills to square this thing up on a table saw, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't recommend it. It'd be highly dangerous. So I recommend cutting these things right away into strips, 1/4-inch strips, and then making 1 liter of tea to 5 gallons, I believe. That's what I've been using. That's the analogy that I've been using anyway for making my sugar syrup. And it's been a while since I've done additives. Actually, the first round I added some the feel good, I guess. The feel good thing for the beekeeper. I used some Honey Bee Healthy. I also used something that's new but scientifically proven for changing the pH of the syrup. So I added 5 tablespoons of for the 5-gallon pail of organic apple cider vinegar. So the bees seem to be reacting to this thing pretty good. Yep. And that's just a bit of an update. This is October. This is ridiculous. Yeah, it's been pretty dry out, so yeah, it's been 20s, late, couple of days of late teens, but mostly into the 20s. For temperature wise, this year has been pretty topsy-turvy for temperature. Snow in April, October, when I'm probably starting up my pellet stove usually, because it's just dipping down a bit into the low teens. Start to dip, and overnights are like 6, sometimes 7 degrees. So we're usually already probably starting my pellet stove to get things warmed up just in the morning for a little bit to get things warmed up. And yeah, not this year. This year, this is what, almost mid-October. This is October 12th. Yeah, almost mid-October. And we're running, yeah, almost mid-October, and I'm running and we're in the 20s right now. We're supposed to be dipping down next week sometime, but we're still going to be a bit on the warm side. Yeah, that's it. And the first 2 videos from earlier, they were up in August. I'm going to splice these onto this one. They'll be after this one. Talk to you later. One thing about me feeding sugar syrup this year is this is the first year in about 3 or 4 years that I've fed sugar syrup. Usually I just put it in eke with some dry sugar on top with a sprinkling of water and Honey Bee Healthy mixed in, just to make it smell more appealing to the bees. That's it. Generally, yeah, I leave. I found it less work on me to leave honey in to the brood nests and in the hive than it is for me to go mixing up sugar syrup. In certain circumstances, yeah, that might be better, is to feed them sugar syrup. I'm not knocking it. That's just something that I found with my hives and my situation. That's pretty much it. Other than, yeah, and I run in previous videos, you probably saw that I ran like a 1/4 to 1, quarter water to 1 sugar. I was making a really runny fondant during the springtime, because sometimes we get a little bit too much rain, and feeding them liquid sugar is not the greatest thing in the world when our air is pretty saturated with moisture. So having liquid isn't always the best thing in that situation at that time of year in the spring, for spring buildup. That's just me though, and that's my suggestion. Just out in Victoria working, out in Gordon Hidden area, down here for work. I just noticed this bush here. This is old-fashioned Weigala. This is if you want to create your own honey flow kind of thing. Say if you got a few acres, you can plant all kinds of this stuff for your hives. The honeybees and the bees and the pollinators are all over this thing. And the flowers last quite a bit longer than a lot of things. That's what I've been noticing. I have one of these actually at home. I might be cultivating this thing. I might decide to cultivate this and get this thing going. Get a lot of these bushes going. This is what I do for a living. It's what I make my money at. I'm a drywall taper by trade. That yellow is touch-up mud, and what they did was they removed the cove all along there, and when they did that, I guess it pulled away from the wall. So it just sometimes, well, I went over it with Confill first, but sometimes you gotta put a touch-up coat on it at the end. That's just the way it works. This is a renovation. So yeah, this is what I do for a living.